Hello, my name is Alexis Duran. This is my class research presentation on social anxiety called A Growing Fear, Social Anxiety in Young Adults. This research was conducted for Eastern New Mexico University Portales, Department of Psychology, the class being Research Method and Stat in Psychology, taught by Dr. John Price. For the purpose of this study was conducted to examine experiences associated with social anxiety within young working adults using survey research methods. The topic was chosen due to interest in how current young adults may struggle with forms and symptoms of social anxiety. What is social anxiety? In an article published by the American Psychological Association, social anxiety is described as such. People with this disorder are fearful of social situations in which they might feel embarrassed or judged. They typically feel nervous spending time in social settings, feel self-conscious in front of others, and worry about being rejected by or offending others. There is not a specific hypothesis for this study, rather being a general examination of people's experiences and struggles with social anxiety and its symptoms. The data from this survey was examined using Cronbach's alpha reliability test, with the original results for the 30 questions being an alpha coefficient of 0.562. For the survey to be deemed reliable, questions 3, 7, 14, and 29 were removed from the dataset as per Jamobi's recommendation. The questions removed left too much up to participant interpretation, which made them less reliable for consistent data. After these questions were removed, the result of the reliability test was an alpha coefficient of 0.781. General examination of the data beyond the Cronbach's alpha showed variation within participant scores between individuals who work in customer service and those who do not, with most participants in socially inclined positions showing less discomfort regarding meeting new people and having conversations compared to other participants. Interestingly, individuals in socially inclined positions answered higher for questions regarding overthinking and self-doubt, even with this slightly improved confidence in social interaction. 4 out of these 6 men rated apprehension regarding conflict lower than the women within the study, with the women surveyed displaying a higher level of apprehension regarding conflict. And as you can see, there are some results displayed here, as well as some of the removed survey questions. For the method of study for this research, this study was conducted in survey format, consisting of 30 questions in total, on printed paper, and included a description of the purpose and definition of the topic of the survey. Answers were in the format of the Likert scale, which ranged from strongly disagree to strongly agree, 1 to 5, presented in word format and changed to numerical format afterwards to review the data. Questions were created to address different possible experiences and symptoms that an individual could experience relating to social anxiety and the level to which these are experienced. These questions ranged from more specific experiences and struggles to broader experiences with social interaction and anxiety. Questions 5, 10, 12, 15, 18, 22, and 25 were reverse scored as they discussed confidence within social interaction and settings instead of discomfort as the other questions discussed. Data was organized into Excel in numerical format after these surveys were completed prior to further examination. And below I have examples of these survey questions, one of them being I hesitate to ask for help at stores, and another being I prefer to go out when there are little to no people out. There were 10 participants in total for this survey. Participants' ages ranged from 19 to 25, 2 being 19, 2 being 22, 2 being 23, 1 being 24, and 3 being 25. The gender split for this survey was 6 men to 4 women. There was variation within participant backgrounds and ethnicities as well. All participants have steady jobs, with 6 out of the 10 participants working customer service and more socially inclined positions. These participants were gathered from my own job, as well as the jobs of acquaintances and friends that were willing. I found the topic of social anxiety and this survey to be of psychological interest, as it connects to cognitive and behavioral processes related to social interaction and stimuli, and how these can vary from person to person. Another reason for interest is that social anxiety is something I have witnessed in others and myself from a young age. and I was interested in how these struggles may develop and present themselves in early adulthood based on differences in growth and development. I found the difference between the men and women's answers regarding conflict to be interesting, as many of the men still answered highly regarding anxiety with more general conversation, even if they displayed less discomfort surrounding conflict and arguments. I also found it interesting that majority of the participants answered highly regarding self-doubt and overthinking, even if they tended to feel more confident talking to and meeting new people, as well as putting themselves in new social situations. It is also interesting to note that during the process of this survey, multiple participants noted that they had never considered that certain experiences and struggles could possibly be related to social anxiety in some way. For a conclusion, overall, I found that majority of participants consistently answered highly regarding self-doubt and overthinking, which is a large part of social anxiety and the struggles that come with it. Even with differences in background, gender, and work, most individuals surveyed expressed similar struggles that connect to social anxiety and its defined experiences. Beyond the topics of conflict and conversation, which showed variation between gender and job settings, participant experiences were generally consistent and lacked extreme variation within the answers. A future survey regarding this topic could benefit from a larger group of participants and more specific questions to get a wider and more accurate range of information and data. It could also benefit from a larger Likert scale, perhaps being from 1 to 7, as some participants noted hesitancy to pick the highest options on either end of the scale. It would present a larger range of possible differences between participant scores, but it would also possibly make people more willing to answer comfortably. I believe it would be interesting to conduct a survey to examine social anxiety within middle or late adulthood compared to young adulthood, to see differences and similarities between different age groups' comfort regarding socializing and social stimuli. That has been my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good one.